Practice. Subscribe to Vincent Valentine EX Turk channel.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Final Fantasy Coliseum, where we have two Final Fantasy characters, or Square Enix Fair's characters, with two of the same powers and backstories face each other in a Final Fantasy Death Battle of the Coliseum. And now we got two evil gods. One god from the past, from a billion years BC, versus the god of hatred, Zemous. So we got Lavos versus Zemous. Starting with Zemous, since I know more about Zemous than I do Lavos. You know, Zemous is the force that was controlling Golbez and the four archfiends of chaos in the 4 universe. So he was pretty much the reason why everything went the way that it is. Controlling Golbez, using Golbez's hatred to make him under control. And Zemous has two forms. He could transform to two forms. So Zemous is pretty much the spirit of hate. As long as there's hate and malice, Zemous will always be around. And with that, Zemous' base form is at least, if I could compare it, at least a power of one of the sorceresses from Final Fantasy VIII. And then he could transform as well as two forms. Zemous, and I forget what the other one is. Let me go look it up. So I forgot the other one. I forget what the other one's called, but Zemous. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Alright, let's get to it. That's Zemous. Oh, it is Zemous. Both forms are Zemous. I'll be... Okay. Never mind, I thought it was. Okay. Yes, it's Zemous. Okay, so pretty much Zemous could turn to two forms of Zemous. Level 1 Zemous is when he's in the blue form, and then he has the fleshy, disturbed looking insect thing, known as the strongest form of Zemous, which is at least up to the power of fallen angel Kefka and Safer Sephiroth. So, Zemous could only get stronger, which makes sense since Zemous is actually a deity. Since Zemous is actually a deity anyway, so it makes a lot of sense that he could do this. Now, he has all the strongest magic, being a deity he is. That can one-hit KO your party member. You know, now it's time to get to Lavos. Lavos from Chrono Trigger. And Lavos... And I'm going to be using the wiki for Lavos because it's like I have not gotten that far in Chrono Trigger. But Lavos, you know, Lavos is an alien parasite that crash landed in the year 65 billion BC. It was named Lavos by Alia, a word she made up from the word law, meaning fire, Vos, meaning big, and Locan language. So Lavos is a true name. The unknown, Lavos came to Earth in attention to draining the energy. So Lavos could have the power to drain energy. He has the power to drain energy, and it got so bad that even mages had to help the Chrono defeat Lavos. But just like Zemous, Lavos could also transform too. He also has his techs are rain destruction, Lavos Needle, Chaos Zone, Confuse, and Earthquake. And then he does have another form, and this is actually inside Lavos' body, the inner true Lavos. And in this one, he can use Fire Dance, Dark Will, Umbriel, Entrance, Poison, Flame War, Evil Extermination, Raise Attack, Dark Flame, and Embrace as well. And even his hands and arms have different attacks, meaning that he's a mega boss. Lavos is pretty much the same archetype as Final Fantasy X's Yu Yevon, where you had to fight all the different pieces of Yu Yevon, you know. When you had to fight all the pieces of Yu Yevon. Which makes a lot of sense, you know. Which makes a whole bunch of sense. Now, when it comes to magic, I'd have to say, when it comes to magic, you know, when it comes to magic, I'd have to say, I'd have to say Zemous would win, considering all his attacks are nothing but magic. All of Zemous' attacks are pretty much magic based. But at the same time, Lavos could use techniques from what I said of light and dark. So I kind of switched this one. I think Lavos would be stronger when it comes to magic based because Lavos can use light magic, unlike Zemous, since Zemous is a being of darkness, you know. So I'd have to say when it comes to magic, Lavos would win. When it comes to speed, I'd have to say in the first form, Zemous would win if Zemous stayed in the first form. Maybe second form too, because second form is at least still his body weight. But third form he probably slow down because he's a giant insect-looking creature. So I'd have to say that Zemous would be faster than Lavos. Plus, the real Lavos stays inside the Lavos shells. So Zemous would actually win the speed. When it comes to physical prowess, I'd have to say for physicality, I'd have to give it to Lavos. I would have to give it to Lavos, considering that Zemous does not use physical attacks. Zemous is all magic. He's all mage. You know, Zemous is all magic, so Lavos would be able to beat him in physical combat. You know, so I'd have to give this round to Lavos, because if you enter his shell, he can use his hands to get you. You know. So, but I'd have to say, since it took a lot to defeat Zemous, it was the sacrifice of Golbez and Golbez's and Cecil's father to defeat, to actually get a few hits in. I'd have to say who would be stronger and who would win this death battle would have to go straight to Zemous, because, you know, even though Lavos has Zemous' weakness, and, you know, Zemous' weakness would be light, considering, you know, Zemous is a god of darkness. So I'd have to say, I would, even with that, I still have to say Zemous, because what it took the whole party plus Golbez at his full power, and Golbez and Cecil's father to take down Zemous. You know, and even that wasn't enough. It had to take a lot more to defeat Zemous' final form. So with that entails, I'd have to say Zemous would be the winner of this death battle. So may the crystal be with you. Like and share if you comment, feedback if you agree or disagree. And may the crystal be with you.
Yo, Percocet, yeah. Miley Percocet, Percocet, yeah. Miley Percocet, rep the set, yeah. Gotta rep the set, gang, gang. Chase a chick, never chase a bitch, chase no bitch. Man